Did it work that time?
Nope.
No?
No.
Alright. Okay. Oh well. I don't know what's wrong with it, so we're just gonna
She's
keep
gonna have to
going
fix
on.
it in post.
Yep.
Yep.
I will. I
Okay.
apologize, everybody. I'm sorry. Issues. Yes. I'm very sorry. Anyways. How are you doing tonight, Aggathon? How is your evening? What are you up to?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm actually, you can see no background for me tonight. That's because I'm home for the weekend at my parents' place because it was my birthday this week.
Awesome. Happy birthday. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
26.
26. That's a good age to be. I like that
Sure.
age. All right. Okay, well, happy birthday
It feels like
to
pretty
you.
much the most insignificant birthday I've ever had so far.
Right? I totally understand that. Because, like, 18 is big. You're an adult. 21 is awesome. You can drink legally. And then 25 is kind of cool. It's a quarter of a century, all that, whatever. And then
Lower
everything
insurance
after that
rates.
doesn't... Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
No one
everything
told
after
my
that
insurance
doesn't really
company
matter.
that. Although I
Anyway,
have pretty
so...
low rates to begin with, so whatever.
Oh, well, you're lucky. Do you drive like a sedan or something kind of like generic?
Yeah, I have the car that I have full coverage on is a sedan. I have an SUV that I technically have liability only on, but I don't think I've driven it in like 6 months. So I really should just sell that car.
Right. And Kage, how about yourself? How are you doing this evening?
Doing great. I'm sitting here in the set of the summoning portal. You guys can see behind me. Just kind of hanging out. Man, I started school up again, like I said, and those are going great. Doing amazing. A lot of my time has been dedicated to that, so not as much World of Warcraft. Although, I did tank a flex for the first time on my DK this week. So that was fun. Besides
tanked?
that, just... oh, I have a new summoning portal coming out this week with Sal from the Converted, so I was working on that. So that's pretty much it.
I'm still
Back
kind of
to
hung
you,
up on
Rem.
the fact that you tanked. You were tanking. That's what you
Yeah.
said. I don't know if I would.
Shark.
I don't know if I would trust you to tank.
That was really good. Shark Fu from the Asparagus Initiative actually was like, "Hey, Cage, you got a tank?" And I'm like, "Yeah, kind of." It's like, "What's the eye level?" I'm like, 519. He's like, "Go get it." What for? He's like, "You're gonna tank flex with me." I was like, "Okay."
Huh.
And I did it, and
Very
we
interesting.
one shot everything going through the first phase, and then I had to call the next. I had school the next day, but yeah, it was fun.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
congrats to you on your trying and tanking and all of that. Let's see. This week, my raid team, we went into normal mode raiding, and that was fun-ish. I'm having camera issues here, too, so I'm trying to fix all this while I'm talking. But, yeah, so we took 25 people. We had to pug a couple of extra people, but we went into 25 normal mode instead of flex. That was fun. We got a couple bosses down. And, yeah, I played a little bit of Hearthstone. I've been playing Diablo. I'll actually be on Diablo tonight after we're done with the show, so if anybody's playing Diablo or whatever. It'll be my first time going through the storyline at a difficulty other than like normal or whatever the first difficulty is, so wish me luck with that. Yeah, so tonight we're going to go through the news really fast because I think a lot of it's kind of like overplayed and overchatted already. We're just going to go through it real quickly and let you guys know what's going on in the mostly World of Warcraft chat tonight. So if you came for some StarCraft or Hearthstone, well, a little bit of Hearthstone, but if you came for some StarCraft and Diablo chat, unfortunately we don't have very much for tonight. Lots of World of Warcraft stuff though. So, Greg Street, you guys hear about that? He's working for Riot now. What do you guys, Cage?
I can't believe that when Blizzard's actually putting out a hero arena or a hero brawler, he leaves to go to Riot.
Not you two.
I mean, I thought, if you wanted a new change, maybe you'd go over there. But, it's good. It's good for Riot. They got a good, employee. They got a good, lead developer. So maybe there'll be some cool changes and balance over there.
I think that Ghostcrawler was always one of the more communally vocal devs out there. So, I think it makes sense that companies are targeting him. And I'm sure this isn't his first job offer. He's gotten to go away from Blizzard. But I'm sure it's the first one where the number was right. Everyone has their price. I'm willing to bet Riot had his. So we'll see what happens.
If there's any company that has the money to pay for Ghostcrawler.
When I was on the Nexus, which is a Heroes of the Storm podcast, we talked a little bit about Greg Street leaving and going to Riot. And in a nutshell, I think Riot made a fantastic move in picking up somebody like Greg Street. Most people who play World of Warcraft know that Greg Street is an amazing designer, and he was pretty darn good at interacting with the community and stuff like that. So I think Riot did fantastic. Good job on Riot on picking up such an excellent employee. That's, of course, just my opinion. And I agree with Aggathon. I think part of it may be due to financial reasons. Maybe Riot said we'll pay you more. I don't know. We don't know any of this. It's not like we have insider information. But that's my opinion. So I get what you're saying, Aggathon. Not everybody agrees with me though. That's definitely been discussed a lot, especially
the money shouldn't matter. Stay loyal to your company.
Right.
Right. But I think if you're going to be a game designer and stuff, there's nothing wrong with moving on to companies, especially a company like Riot that I think, in my opinion, needs somebody like Greg Street. They need that. Blizzard already has hundreds of fantastic employees and designers, and I think that Riot is lacking in that department. Not that they don't have great employees already, but they just don't. I feel like they don't have as many or as good as the ones that Blizzard has. So I'm happy for Riot that they're getting such a quality person as Greg Street. So that is that. We don't really need to chat about that one much longer.
Well, I might add a little bit on that. In that,
okay.
While League of Legends isn't exactly a brand new game, right. WoW is also now 10 years old. And while, yes, he was a Blizzard employee, technically, he was on the World of Warcraft team. And I'm sure they weren't going to take him off of the World of Warcraft team. So at the point in time where, if someone offers him, money that is incentive enough to leave, and you get to go work on a new project, at the very least new to you, and you get to take your experience from other companies and apply it in a new area, that's really exciting, and it allows you to grow as a person. And Riot may not be his last job ever. He may move on from there after 10 more years or whatever. So I can't really blame the guy. I was glad that he was at Blizzard for as long as he was, and hope he does well at Riot. Wish him the best.
Yep. I just want to say one quick thing. Coltrane called it.
A lot of people called it, but yes, you are.
Yes,
correct.
Coltrane called it right. Hi, Cole.
Yeah. There was a lot of people that kind of figured it out, and it happened. That's a thing. It's a thing. Moving on, so there was a post on Battle.net about Warlords of Draenor. It was like a long post about a lot of minuscule details. In there was the little smattering of the fact that you would get your Insta 90 with Warlords of Draenor pre-purchase. So if you pre-purchase it, you'd get your level 90 upon the day that you pre-purchase. Thoughts? What do you guys think about that? Because I'll tell you what I think, but Kage?
Actually, I like this because you still get it even if you don't pre-purchase when you get the expansion, and
right.
You're only going to get
yes.
one. This gives you a chance to actually, gives you time to play with that 90 before the expansion comes out. You get to learn it, learn the class. Okay. So I mean,
what do you think
I really I don't see a real downside to this. I mean, I don't see how it affects anyone negatively at all.
What about people who can't afford to pre-purchase and they have to save up a little bit of cash and then they can't get it until the game comes out.
They still get it, but pre-purchasing should have some kind of benefit.
They get it, but they don't get it when everybody else gets it.
Well, here's another benefit and something that they haven't talked about yet, but is okay. You get a free 90. What does that mean? What do you have? Do you still have to level your professions all the way up? Do you get some sort of benefit for professions? What there's a whole bunch of questions about like mount speed, for example. Do you still have to go back and purchase all of the mount requirements that you have to purchase before? What and if you get that 90 before the expansion actually comes out, and those things aren't just a given, then you have the ability then to spend time on that 90 before the expansion comes out, get a feel for it, get your professions up to Mists of Pandaria levels, grind the gold or whatever you need to get your flight speed. And once you have all of that, then pre-purchasing gives you that edge of being able to get your character ready for when Warlords of Draenor actually drops.
Absolutely. And the idea of it not being fair is complete BS. I'm going to call that right now. Because what if you don't buy the expansion for the first 3 months? Should you get your 90 anyway with the hopes that you're going to buy
that's different. That's a different.
No, it's exact the same. You're getting it when you pay for the game.
That's totally different. We're talking about getting something that is supposed to come with an expansion before that expansion is even live.
But you're buying the expansion, and you're not. It's not like you're getting a free 100.
I'm gonna be devil's advocate here.
I don't understand your argument here at all. So
see, and usually I'm the kind of person, I'm like all for, yes, give us the awesome stuff, give it as fast as possible. But this is something that I don't think that I like. How that
because
being
it's
said,
not
I'm
fair?
huge. Yeah, I just don't think that it's fair. I think that not everybody pre-purchases, and it's not like a. To me, it's. I don't know how to explain it, but like when Warlords of Draenor comes out, there's going to be that date, and it's going to be out. It'll be live on the servers, and I think, in my opinion, aside from all of the system stuff, that's when this kind of stuff that we're supposed to be getting, that's advertised, this is what we're getting with the expansion. I think that's when it should all go live. Spencer in the chat room is saying, pre-ordering bonuses have always existed. Yes, I know that, and it's usually like pets and mounts and whatever, and that's fine because it's a little more vanity type stuff. Getting a free 90, it's not game breaking. I don't think it's game breaking, but I don't think it's a vanity thing either. So this is why I feel a little.
Your opinion is going to be very unpopular right now.
It's fine. You think that all the time, but this is the point of the show. I'm expressing my opinion. And, that's my thoughts on it. I just don't necessarily like it. I'm on the fence about it. Aggathon, you were going to say something.
So you think everyone should get the 90? Now, do you think it's when 6.0 drops is when they should get it, or when Warlords of Draenor drops?
When Warlords of Draenor drops. The day that they're like, it's Warlords of Draenor Day.
Okay, so what happens if you don't get all the mount speed stuff then? If you still have to go back and buy all your mounts? Now the people that wanted to play the new 90 are now behind on trying to level that first day because they have to go through and do all those prerequisite stuff. Whereas if they got it either whenever you pre-ordered or at 6.0, they would have had time to do that. So as soon as Warlords of Draenor drop, they can just jump into content.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying. I think it's been a while since I've done Scroll of Resurrection, but when I Scroll of Resed Messy Fresh's account once, he got a free level 80, I think it was. This was maybe like 9-10 months ago, maybe a year ago. I can't remember. They were giving a free level 80 character, and that character came with, if I remember correctly, level appropriate gear, flight, bags, like big bags, like pretty much everything he needed to just start playing that character. So I know that they haven't finalized this, but I think I'm estimating, I think that when we get these free 90s, I think they're going to come with a similar setup, the flight stuff already there, the bags, the gear. They have said the gear, we know that, but I don't see why they wouldn't do it the same way that it's done with Scroll of Res. I don't, that would be dumb if they didn't do it that way.
And I get that. I don't know. I just think sort of, I don't know. If you have the money to pre-purchase, then why not? Like, it's not if so. So if the argument that it's unfair because you get it sometime before that point, but if when you do get it, you're already ready to jump into content, then effectively it does not matter at all whether or not you pre-purchase and get it or you purchase as soon as it releases and you get it. There's functionally no difference.
Yeah, because to
Right.
tell you the
Yeah,
truth,
that makes
I
sense.
didn't want to spend the first day of the expansion messing around with a brand new class that I have no idea what I'm doing with. I want to be able to jump in with something I'm familiar with, if I have the opportunity, and just go and do what I want to do. You know,
And
so
that's very valid. I mean, all I was
I mean,
saying, I'm not like lobbying right now. I'm not like everybody boycott this and let's have a movement and woo player power. Like I'm not. I'm just expressing that I just don't feel like it's entirely that fair. But I'm not like I'm a hypocrite, guys. I'm gonna pre-order my Warlords of Draenor. Big shocker! And the day I pre-order it, I'm gonna boost to level 90 characters. So,
what are you boosting?
do you get what I'm
You know,
saying?
yeah.
I don't know. I've got a druid that I'm kind of thinking of because I really like her, but she's level 60. Then I feel like, why would I waste my boost on a character that's level 60? I don't know. I haven't decided.
I've
Actually,
decided to.
That'd be something.
I will say there are 8 people in the world that this is unfair to. That's the 8 people that have joined the Get Buffed challenge for a chance to win Warlords of Draenor, and they
Oh,
have to
right.
wait until they see if they want a copy before they buy their own. So,
That's true.
so really, it just hoses
Oh,
those 8 people that have signed up so far.
Yeah,
yeah.
which we'll probably talk
So,
about a little later in the
yeah,
show.
actually, that's a perfect segue. How before we get into the other like teeny minor things, whatever, we can talk about them later. Tell everybody what is Get Buffed. What is this thing that you speak of?
So over on the blizzmaster.com forums, I myself, Adam Eastwood, that random geek who's in the chat right now, and David Troy, and well, who's Brilliant is his character name, and then Cage, who still hasn't made a post.
Oh my gosh, I knew I was gonna get some.
We have sort of
Adam.
started this thing for being healthy gamers, losing weight and still being able to play World of Warcraft and stuff like that.
That's
So,
right. I'm doing it. I'm doing everything I possibly can
oh, and
to lose
Navox.
weight
How could I
right
have forgotten
now.
Navox? He's also a sponsor. Um, so basically, those of us that are sponsors can't win the big prizes. But you can choose one of the sponsors, and whichever sponsor loses the most weight by weight percentage. So if you weighed 300 pounds and lost 60, that would be 20%. If 20% is the most, you win. Um, then the people who voted for those sponsors will win like a month of free game time. Anyone who decides to participate with us in losing weight, of which so far we already have 8 entries, um, anyone who participates has a chance to win a digital download version of Warlords of Draenor, and the person who loses the most weight by body mass percent will win a collector's edition of Warlords of Draenor. At this point, I highly recommend if you're going to pick a sponsor, pick Adam, that random geek, because so far he's kicking all of our asses.
That's right.
Big Adam.
Yeah, he's definitely winning over me.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Where can they go to see or sign up for this?
So you go to forum.blizzmaster.com, and under the events forum, there's a sub forum that is Get Buffed, and there's a post up there that says this is the rules and submissions thread. The rules and how to submit are right there. You just reply to that same thread, and there's instructions on how to reply to the thread to make your submission, and yeah, that's all you got to do. Just reply to that thread and you're submitted. A lot of other people are doing sort of daily diaries and advice and what we're doing and our current progress and stuff like that. So if you want to make a whole new thread that's your own diary, you can do that too, or comment on other people's, whatever. We're trying to be encouraging to each other to get out there and lose the weight.
Yeah, and I think it's awesome. I've like been I don't know what you would call it, snooping, I guess. That's not a good word. I've been watching.
Stalking?
Yes, I'm stalking you guys. I think it's great. I have had my own weight struggles. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but Rem, you're so tiny. But, I'm a girl and I grew up in the 90s and 2000s, and anyways, I had children very young. Also, I was 19 when I had my oldest son, so I have had like my up and down with weight. And I think any kind of environment where people are helping each other and very positive, I think that is the greatest thing in the whole wide world, especially because we all already have a lot in common. We're gamers, World of Warcraft gamers, particularly for this group. And you guys are awesome. And always, like, I've noticed a lot of the interactions between you guys is just like, hey, try this, and hey, I thought of this great snack, you should try this. And I've seen that going on with you guys, and I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great community. So if anybody's looking to lose some weight and have some really a really good chance to meet people, meet other gamers, and have a really good support group, then I would definitely suggest this to you if you are interested in that. And on top of that, you can win Warlords of Draenor if you do really great. So why not, Kage, why haven't you started your get buffed thing?
I got 4 letters for you. Ready? LAZY.
Oh, all right.
So lazy.
Oh.
No, I mean, I got school, and I didn't even know I was going to go to school until like a week and a half ago, which is interesting. And then pretty much just I haven't changed my food habits like I should. I've been slacking. You know what it is? I'm going to be the tortoise and the hare. I'm the tortoise.
Slow and steady wins the race.
That's
until
right.
it doesn't.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, okay, all right, you guys are making this awkward. But anyway, so if you're interested in that, definitely go check it out. I think there's still a post on our on the front page of our website. We have a little news slider, so one of those little slides is still for the Get Buff Challenge. Or, like he said, you can go to forum.blizzmaster.com. I think also forums.blizzmaster.com will get you there. But yeah, and for anybody listening to this download site or watching on YouTube, I'll put the link in the description of the show for you. And our live listeners, I just gave you a little linky in the chat room. So there we go. Everybody can be educated on the Get Buffed Weight Loss Challenge. Moving on. So just back really quick to the news. If you're into Heroes of the Storm, because I saw this on the Heroes of the Storm website, I believe. No, Twitter. No, the website. I can't remember. I see crap everywhere. Blizzard wants you to send
Be
them
honest, it was in your
fan
RSS
art.
feed.
Yeah, it's exactly, and that's the problem. So like, I have a really cool tablet now. This is like my favorite toy, and I have all my news feeds like via RSS through this app called Pulse. I've talked about it on previous episodes a lot. If you're looking for a really good RSS feed reader, get Pulse. We're not sponsored by them. I'm just saying that. But anyway, so like I have the one like widget for my homepage where it combines all of my feeds. So it's just like one continuous like news thing. So I don't know if it was like fan site post or unless I actually like click into the article, then I know where it came from. But it's just like headline and then text, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. So anyways, Blizzard is looking for fan art for Heroes of the Storm stuff. It's on there. It's on the front page of the Heroes of the Storm website. So, or on the news, if you click the news thing. So go to heroesofthestorm.com and click into that article. And if you're really good at drawing or making digital art or whatever, they want your fan art. So I think they're going to build it up how it is on World of Warcraft, where you can go into the media section and like look at all the fan art. So that's cool. Heroes of the Storm is going to be like a real game, guys. Did you know that? It's going to be a real game.
Wow.
All right,
I've got some
and
fan
then-
art for him.
Yeah. And
This
the
right
last
here.
little bit of news is I lost the Skype feed here for a second, so
That was me. I
wait
was.
for that to catch back up. What happened to you guys? You guys are gone.
Did I just totally crash that?
Yep, it's good.
Is it back
You're
now?
back.
I was trying to submit
Okay,
my
so
fan
the-
art.
Oh.
Take
Oh, you were trying to do screen sharing. Okay, all right. So the last little bit of news is Hearthstone patch is pretty crazy. They nerfed and buffed a lot of things. Pyroblast got nerfed from... Yeah, it's crazy. And then if you're a hunter, they nerfed Unleash the Hound. Actually, it's really a buff.
No, they buffed Unleash the Hounds. That was the
Yeah,
only buff.
yeah. Unleash the Hounds is now 2 mana cost, I believe. So if you were running that and then the change, you were like, meh, it's 4 mana. Now they buffed it. It's only 2 mana, so I think it's slightly viable now. But for lack of time, we're not going to talk too much Hearthstone this week. I think we're doing Hearthstone next week, dependent on the guest that we are trying to get for the next week's show. We may or may not be talking Hearthstone. So, that's pretty much it for news. There was a ton of other news, but I just felt like those were the kind of ones that we should touch on. I haven't even gotten to play in Hearthstone since the patch dropped, so I haven't tried them out. But I just, read the articles and all that good stuff. So
I'm
educated
mad about
myself.
the Hearthstone changes.
Really?
Yeah, because
Were you playing a mage?
Okay,
Seemed like
so
mages got hit pretty hard.
Mages were one of my favorite classes, but I haven't really been playing a mage recently. I've been playing a warrior who was actually hit harder, in my opinion, than mages.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing a warrior and a warlock, but the changes just seem to all slide into this. No, don't do any fancy mechanics. Heavens to Betsy! Why would we ever want people to do fancy mechanics? Why would
I
we?
agree.
Why wouldn't we change secrets to make them so that they're actionable instead of just trigger whenever,
Right?
to make the game more interactive? Why would we do that? Heavens, instead, why don't we make it so that people have to play this style of Hearthstone? And it's bugging the crap out of me that literally, there's no reason to get packs. You maybe to try and get a legendary or something, but for the most part, people can just win a ton by just using the cards you get when you sign into it, and which is a good thing. You should be able to win and have those cards, but getting cards and having fancy mechanics literally does nothing for you in the game. It's all about creature control right now, and it's annoying as hell.
Yeah. And then I had an issue with one of their posts they made. I think it was Eric Dodds talking about balancing Hearthstone. This is also on the Hearthstone website, so he
I need to read that
kind
again.
of in a nutshell was saying that they wanted to take away certain things in the game because it wasn't working the way they wanted to, right? That's always Blizzard's go-to defense. It's not what we intended. But I feel like they're trying to make it too flat. There's not enough versatility, not enough flavor, if you will. I feel like they're kind of starting to flatten everything, and that there's not the thing with competitive games, in my opinion, is that what makes them awesome is seeing the meta change all the time, right? So in Hearthstone, you used to see anyways, every flavors of the month, so on and so forth. You see this in League of Legends a little bit. You see it in StarCraft a little bit, but not so much anymore. And a lot of people will say, "Oh, it's balancing the game. The game should be balanced." But I personally like when I see over a week or so, or a couple weeks, something is strong, and then you see the players kind of be like, "Well, yes, this is strong, but I'm gonna find a way to beat it." So when Miracle Rogue in Hearthstone was super strong and everybody was playing Miracle Rogue, then you saw the community kind of be like, "Oh, rogues are so OP. We need to do something about this." And somebody was like, "Hey, try this deck or try this deck." And then next you saw that druids were huge because they could beat all of the rogues. So a lot of people started playing druids, and then before you know it, druids are the flavor of the week, and I've always liked that in competitive games. It makes you
Metagaming
need
needs
to stay
be
in the community.
metagaming needs to be players figuring out ways to use the game mechanics in creative ways to win games over the meta that's out there now. Like
Yes.
th- metagaming shouldn't change based off of when the devs nerf stuff. Like that's what happens right now. Is right now it's, oh, this thing is too powerful, so we're going to nerf priests. Now just everyone just stops playing priests and they moved on and they go, okay, well, what's the next best thing? Okay, let's do this warrior charge hackery trick with the brewmaster or whatever. And then everyone's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, that's overpowered or whatever. So then nerf that, and everyone's like, okay, well, let's just stick to Murloc decks. Like, like it's like, well, they took that option away, so now let's just go to something else. And it's not. It's reactions to devs changing the game, not players figuring out ways around mechanics. And the more you limit the mechanics in the game, the more you limit the ability to be interactive and to have different play styles, the more you hurt the metagame changing.
Yeah.
From a player basis.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
exactly.
I pretty much feel the same way. So, Kage, you are just. I'm gonna punch you.
I have.
All right.
I have
okay.
nothing to say about Hearthstone because I'm just a complete noob. Complete.
It's all right, Kage.
But I am in a very
Everybody's-
nice conversation with everybody in the chat room. So
That's good.
Well,
so it's working.
Well, I will
Um,
say that Adam, Geek of Random, has a real good point in the chat room that Hearthstone is still in beta, though. And so that's a valid point. But I feel like a lot of their explanations as to why they're nerfing stuff is because they say this is like they've flat out said we want the game to be about creature control. That's the style that we want people to be playing.
Right.
And that's
Yeah, they
what
want it to
bugs
be
me
very
more than
minion
just, oh, they're
based.
tweaking their beta. And if this is really beta, why don't they fix the card placement order issue?
Oh,
You guys
yeah,
had
that
that?
gets on my nerves. Yeah, so I'm playing my shaman, and I throw down a flame tongue totem, and then I put my, I don't know, knife juggler on the left side of it, and then the next card, I guess I'll use my hero power, and it'll, like, move my knife juggler to the other side of the flame tongue totem, and then my hero power minion, and then so the one on the furthest right isn't getting the flame tongue totem buff. That drives me nuts. Oh my gosh, it drives me nuts.
Or you drop like an Argent Defender or whatever that gives the things next to it taunt and +1/+1. You drop that, and then all of a sudden your creatures all flip around and it gives different creatures the buff.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't want that creature to have taunt. The reason I dropped taunt is so that they couldn't attack that creature.
Right,
Ah.
exactly. Yeah. Oh man, please fix that, Blizzard. It's still in beta. All right, okay, so we're gonna move on. I just want, hey, Kage, actually, have you ever listened to Aggathon's show, Aggathon's Rage Bar, or watched?
as a matter of fact, I was just talking today. He did a really amazing Agathon's Rage Bar about tanking in an LFR with a PlayStation 2 controller or a PlayStation 3
that was a
controller.
couple weeks back, right?
It was a few
was
weeks
fun.
back, and it was amazing. It gave me all kinds of really cool ideas about how I can, in this kind of lull time, I can kind of look at the game in a different viewpoint. So, if you guys haven't seen that, please go check it out. It's over on YouTube. I think it's also listed on Blizz Master a few weeks back as well. But it was really interesting. It was really fun. So,
Yeah.
Oh, I need to... Shoot, I forgot to post my recent one on Blizz Master. I need to do that.
you're
So,
fired.
I just have a question for you really quick, because you've been on, I guess it was back, was it when we were doing the Blizz Master Show or Press Y? I can't remember. But we've had you on and had you talk about Agathon's Rage Bar before.
Yeah, I think that was
don't
the
think
second
I-
Blizz Master show.
Yeah. So episode 2, I think we had Aggathon on here. But if you... Well, okay, so when we had you on last time, and then afterwards, I thought of some questions. I was like, man, I should have asked him those on TBMS. I should have asked him these questions. So I have a couple of questions that I want to ask you, and then, Kage, if you think of
Okay.
anything, feel free to shoot them. So we're going to ask you a little bit about Agathon's Rage Bar, and then after that, we're going to have our discussion topic for the evening. We're going to be talking about factional love in World of Warcraft. So, before we get into that, I do have a question. What made you want to do a show where you're talking about beer and great beer that the viewers can listen, and doing that inside of a World of Warcraft show? Like, where did that idea come from?
It's all Bovinity's fault. So
Okay.
there's this guy on TankSpot called Bovinity who actually, if you're a ZAM premium donor and can get to the donor forums, or if you just ask me, I'll send you a link. He started making. He's been tired of like other video games going, well, this is crap because of this reason. So he started making his own like little video games, and he has this new one out that's actually like surprisingly fun and addicting called Star Cow. It's great. Anyways, but I was thinking about doing a show because TankSpot, as a lot of people know, used to be run by Lore, who now works for Blizzard. When he left, there was kind of this void. Olivia Grace was putting out some content for TankSpot, but she wasn't really, at that time at least, not doing a lot of the Q&A stuff, and we had started to see site traffic kind of drop off because Laura, I mean, when a guy as awesome as Laura leaves, like, you're gonna see that. But that is where I had been doing my fitness stuff before. It's those assholes' faults that I did the Tough Mudder in Houston this year, which was hard. But the I really loved the site, and I wanted to keep it going. And so I was like, well, maybe I should do a show. And Bovinity was like, lols, you should call it Aggathon's Rage Bar. And I was like, oh, dude, that's perfect because I could talk about beer and stuff at the same time. It would be a pun. And he's like, oh, God, you didn't do that, did you? I was like, yes, it's going to be a pun now. So that's why I started doing the show. I love beer. I love all kinds of different types of beer, like craft beer. I live probably not in the greatest area for craft beer, but Kansas City has the ability to get a lot of really good stuff, especially with the Boulevard Brewery in Kansas City. So I'm able to get a lot of really good stuff. Also like scotch. I've had a few scotches on the show, but it was a way for me to have something sort of different and unique that other gamers can associate with. It's not just World of Warcraft, and allowed me to just kind of sit around and ramble about World of Warcraft.
Nice. Now, I will say, I think, you've talked about a lot of really good topics on the show. As Kage mentioned, tanking and LFR with a PlayStation controller. Guys, I'm not kidding that he did this on an episode of Agathon's Rage Bar.
Even DPS about, the last boss, it was hard.
Right? Yeah. You've talked a little bit about guild type related things, raid leading, warriors. I know that's a big thing for you. You do play a warrior, a prot warrior, correct? Obviously.
Actually, I'm in spec Fury right now, an off spec prot, but yeah.
Okay. So, do you play any other classes in World of Warcraft as much as you play your warrior, or almost as much as you play your warrior?
So historically speaking, I have also played a warlock a lot. I played a warlock for all of Kata, and I got the legendary on that. And warlock was actually my very first character. Was a warlock. So I've had that character since day one. Still sometimes play him, but not so much this expansion. I don't even think I've hit 86 yet on that character. I did level my priest, so now I'm a disc/holy priest, and I've been playing that in the most recent months. I've been playing that almost as much as my warrior, getting it geared up, going through the legendary quests. Got to collect them Titan runestones now. But really, I'm not really an altaholic. I'm someone that really hates repeating content, doing something over again. If I've done a quest, I don't really like doing the quest again because I'm like, I've already done this. Why am I doing this again? It feels like kind of beating my head against a wall. So, yeah, those are really the only three. And someone in chat said, Ag needs to roll a monk. I rolled a monk. I got to level 18 and just lost interest.
No, monks are so much fun, especially like I'm on BlizzMaster.com. One of our writers, our Mistweaver monk writer, he finally did an article. Not finally, it's not like it was like long in the waiting or whatever, but he did an article about fist weaving. And I rolled a monk a long time ago because I wanted to try fist weaving, and I don't know what it is. The writer that I'm speaking of, his name is Daikatsu. I don't know what it is about his writing, but I freaking love it. And I'm like that with a lot of people who write. Like, I've always been a bookworm growing up and stuff like that. So there tend to be like, it's sad to say this, but I'll read things on the internet and like really like a person just by the way that they write. So I read Daikatsu's misweaving articles, and then he did one on fist weaving, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I need to do this. So I started asking him questions, and stuff like that. And anyway, so monks are really fun, Aggathon. You shouldn't just, I don't know, I hear tanking on a monk is like super fun. But regardless, Kage, do you have any questions for him about Agathon's Rage Bar?
Yeah, actually, I do. What is it like working with TankSpot?
A lot about the show. Oh, there we go.
It's easy because KZ does all my work for me. Not really, but he's the Kizionoma is the senior site admin for TankSpot.com. He's just been incredibly supportive with me. We have another Blizz Master guy that had got his start on TankSpot also, which is he's the chat room or he was earlier, but it's our pal Pally from the Get Our Raid Guys. He did a lot of really good work, and he's actually just blown me out of the water in terms of views, because people used to go to TankSpot all the time for guides, and once he started putting guides up again, like everyone just started flooding back and watching his guides. He's got thousands and thousands of views on his guides. But Kazionoma has worked with us and been so helpful and supportive and just done everything he's could for us. Even though TankSpot's owned by ZAM, we do all this freelance. We're not ZAM employees or whatever, so we don't get help from ZAM specifically, but they help us where they can, because they understand what we're trying to do, and we're trying to help the site, because a lot of us have been community members for the site for a very, very long time. There's a bunch of us. There's a shout box on TankSpot that's basically just a chat room that you can go in, and there's like 5 or 6 of us that are just always like, if we have a little downtime at work or we're bored on a weekend or whatever, we'll go on the shop box and we'll just shoot the crap. And there's also the people that I've done a lot of the workout stuff before, the get buffed raid things with, people that have really inspired me and helped me along. I wouldn't have gotten nearly as far as I did without them, and probably would have slid back even further when I had my backslide, if they hadn't been there for me. So they working with the TankSpot people has been really great. It's a great group of people and just lifelong friends that I've made through there.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love the TankSpot forums, and it seems like everybody there is just pretty friendly and helpful, and I love communities like that. Oh, I love it. It's good. Gamers need this kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be all roses and ponies all the time, but I just think that finding good communities is hard nowadays, and the more that we find, the better. So it's a good thing. All right. Okay. So we're going to talk about the big topic of the evening, Horde versus Alliance. No, it's not Horde versus Alliance. But really, the question that I want to ask, and I want to ask the chat room, I want to ask Kage, I want to ask Aggathon, what do you guys think makes a person want to play a faction, one faction over the other? What do you think the draw is? I think that there are a lot of factors, but Kage, I'd like to hear what you think. What makes somebody want to play Horde or play Alliance?
Okay. This is the number one reason anyone picks any faction. Now, not like before when the game first came out, when they were trying different factions. But it's going to be your group of friends in the community you're in, to tell you the truth. I mean, to be honest with you, I started on the Horde because I had friends playing on the Horde. I didn't. That's where I went. And then when they started kind of dropping off the game, I just was looking for a group of people to play with, and I moved over to Alliance because of CTR. So, I mean, to be honest with you, I think it's 100% your community, and what's going on. Now, if you are, let's say you do RP and you're like hardcore horde, you hate the alliance, or you're for the alliance, it's going to be really hard to
I like how
switch
you
over.
sound all sissy when you do that.
Oh
the
my
alliance.
God.
I'm just
I can't
saying.
believe that just
Well,
happened.
that's not my fault. We can blame Metzen for this, okay? He is not
For
giving
the
the alliance a freaking battle cry at all. Okay?
Oh my God.
I-
Just do it one more time so I can make a sounder out of that.
For the alliance.
Yes. Okay.
I'm just saying, Blizzard never gave us, and I think, I think a big reason why the Horde gets a lot of players initially is because they have such really aggressive battle cries. It just feels a lot more metal, I mean, if you're into like just really hardcore, like you really just want to just rock. I mean, you got, for the Horde, or you have, Oktar Lagar. You have things that are gonna that are gonna draw you to that, and you have the story, you have the feeling of being the underdog, and the alliance being the oppressors, and then over the alliance you have the whole, you're a little righteous, you're a little more, a little more right wing, I think, but you're still kind of, you're the main, faction in your own head. I mean, it just feels like the Horde is more of a underdog, and people kind of like that. Not that they are. I mean, let's be honest. They get the cooler storylines. We kind of get gypped a little bit over the alliance side.
I mean, we have blood
Well,
elves and we don't
now
have
maybe a
gnomes.
little bit.
I don't understand why you'd roll alliance.
Oh.
Wait, but blood
Aggathon
elves
has
are
a
only one
thing
sex.
with little people. He's
So?
little people list. Little people list. Yeah, that's
Can
a
you
thing.
roll? Can you roll a male blood elf?
I
Well,
don't think he plays blood elves. What
They're like-
race
they're
do you
like-
play?
male blood elves
Aggathon?
are just stockier female blood elves.
Yeah, they're interesting. Aggathon, what race is your warrior? Are you an orc?
I am undead.
Undead. Okay, well that makes sense.
I'm
know
fat in
that
real
they're
life. I
popular
wanted to be skinny in a
horde race.
game, so I'm all bones.
Now I have a secret. I have a secret that I haven't told anyone. I am currently power leveling an undead warlock.
Okay.
Nice.
Because I just miss my undead warlock. I just miss it.
Dude, they just
Cage
look
of
so
Hell.
awesome, don't they?
Cage of Hell was an undead
No.
warlock for 2 years before I switched over to Alliance. So there's another
Well,
Cage
I
of Hell.
played Horde.
Right now he's a level 35 undead block.
Nice.
Okay.
That's what
all
my
right, all
warlock
right.
is.
So
They started human.
back on
But I did it
topic.
over.
Back on
I
topic.
did it over at Gamebreaker though, because that's like a sister guild.
I'm gonna
to
punch you
CTR,
both.
so.
All right, okay. So, really quick though, because Cage, you had a really good point about people, playing a faction based on their friends that they start playing World of Warcraft. But what about people who start playing WoW before they know anybody? Like you're just like, "Oh, I've heard about this game online or whatever, and I kind of want to try it, but I don't really know anybody who's playing." Like Aggathon, what do you think would make somebody pick a faction in that case?
Honestly, I think it has a lot to do with just what specific races they think are cool. I think if you're a new person going into it, you don't know anything, you're just going to like click on a server and then you go to your character creation and you just go, oh, let's click on this race. Yeah, meh, okay, let's try these. And it's just whichever one seems coolest to you. Because at that point, you don't know anything about racials. You don't know if you want to PvP. If you want to PvP, you need to be a human if you're Alliance or Horde. Or
Right.
if you play this class, then you want to be a gnome to get out of for escape artist because that's better in PvP. Or, oh, I'm going to PvP, so I need to be an orc or a goblin. Or I'm going to play this class, so now this racial is slightly better or whatever. Honestly, the reason why I rolled an undead is because I tried to roll a Tarn warrior first because I wanted to tank, but I couldn't stand the animations. I couldn't feel like I felt like I was just kind of this lumbering oaf like Sweetums from the Muppets. Wait for me, guys. I just felt
Right.
slow. And there was so much downtime involved because even though that was the best warrior class at the time because they had 5% more health, the but it really was only like base health. So at max level, it was only like 2,000 more health or something at the point where I was rolling this. But anyways, I digress. The point is, I rerolled Undead because Undead had cannibalized, and I wanted to do more. I really did want to do like arms PvP while leveling because I was on a PvP server. So the ability to cannibalize and have less downtime and level my character more efficiently is the I rolled Undead. There's no other reason for it.
All right,
what's your warlock?
Undead also.
Okay.
So for
The only-
the person who's coming into WoW without knowing anybody, you think that that's pretty much aesthetically, like they make their decisions based on aesthetics and personal taste, right? It's kind of,
Unless
I
they've
guess, what we're
played the
going here.
Warcraft games before.
Exactly. I was going to bring that up.
Yeah,
'Cause I
if
was
they've played the
talking
Warcraft
to-
games before,
Then you're definitely going Horde.
Right. Yeah. Well,
saying.
see, I was talking to somebody earlier in the week, and we had that conversation. Some people did, back in vanilla WoW, start playing WoW because they played through Warcraft 1, 2, and 3, or one of those, or any combination thereof. So yeah, they would pick the faction based on the faction that they liked more from playing Warcraft. Now, I know that those people are kind of few and far in between. Not a lot of people played the original Warcraft games, or they only played them after they started playing WoW just to see what those games were about. Whatever. So we've got picking your faction based on your friends, what people that have brought you into WoW. Picking your faction based on aesthetics or story, if you knew the Warcraft story. Do you think that there's any other factors that would make someone decide on choosing their faction? Can you think of anything else aside from those 3? Well, I guess technically 4, right? Because then you would have people who already know the game or are familiar with MMOs in general, and then they would pick their faction, like Aggathon was saying, based on reading the racials or looking them up, and then knowing what they want to do in the game, right? So really game-focused decisions. So I think, have we covered pretty much all the bases?
the only thing I can think of other than that is whether or not they prefer the color blue or the color red.
There's one thing
And
we're
then
not
with
talking
that-
about here.
All right, go ahead.
And I've covered this before, and I've been proven right by the top guilds because they've confirmed it on Twitter. It's also the racials.
Well, I just said that.
I mean,
I just said
yeah.
that. You weren't paying attention.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
No,
It's
but I mean, people see people see the top guilds go into a certain direction, and if they follow PVE, most of the guilds are going to be Horde. But if they're following PvP, the racials and alliance are just stronger.
You're
especially
talking
for the
people
humans.
who are already very incredibly familiar with World of Warcraft.
But we're talking about why do you pick a faction in general, not just why new people pick factions.
Well, I mean, why
So-
would... Right, okay. Anyways, I think another, minor reason for anyone incoming to World of Warcraft would be, I guess the perception of good versus evil in general, although I disagree with this, but it's just a generalization. The Alliance is kind of seen as the quote-unquote good guys based on stereotypes, right? And then the Horde can be seen as bad guys just based on stereotypes. I don't agree with this, but, if you go on just, general RPG or fantasy type elements, you have the humans and magic and stuff like that. You have a lot of that in the Alliance. And then you have crazy orcs and trolls and all of that, and that's in the Horde. And so just by standard fare, fantasy rules or whatever, standards, then that's kind of the good versus bad play. Although I don't entirely agree with that. I think that there's a lot of bad things about the Alliance and a lot of good things about the Horde and vice versa. So, yeah. So I think those are all kind of the basic reasons why anybody would choose faction, Alliance, or Horde. Now, have you ever... Well, I want to know if anybody in the chat room has ever done this, or or you two in general too. But have you ever played WoW, or when you first started playing WoW, I guess, did you play a faction and then realize that you didn't really like it early in your World of Warcraft career? All right,
Me.
Aggathon, tell me about that.
I started Alliance because all my friends had rolled on Laughing Skull when the game first started. So I rolled Alliance also, and um, and actually here's one of the reasons I changed that I didn't mention. Um, I Now it's much more bearable now that you have flying mounts, but before you could fly in Stormwind, it was the most annoying damn city ever to fly around in, and it was so much easier to navigate Orgrimmar than it was Stormwind. Like
I
I
agree.
hated
I'll agree with
like
that.
having to backtrack and there's no direct path to anything in the Stormwind. That was a pain in the butt. Now that you can fly in Stormwind, it's a little better, but I still just like the layout of the Horde capital cities better than I like the Alliance capital cities. Although the Deep Run Tram was kind of cool. But I started Alliance on Laughing Skull. Yeah, that's actually the same server that Leroy Jenkins was on. But I eventually, I met a guy in real life actually that was playing on Maelstrom as Horde, and I decided to roll characters with him and roll with his friends, and I liked the feel of Horde, the Horde cities, my undead character. I just liked it all aesthetically better than I liked Alliance.
All right, and that makes sense. I had I guess, similar experience. When I first started playing World of Warcraft, I played Horde because everybody that I knew played Horde, and I was invited to play. My friends were like, "Hey, come play this game with us," and so long story short, I played with them for almost 3 years, and I liked it. Like, I liked raiding. I liked the characters that I had. I was playing a priest almost full time, and then I had my paladin, who was like my second love, like my mistress character. That's kind of how I treated her. And then I had a hunter that I played a little bit, more as like a professions character. I just used her to go mine stuff. Anyway, so I did that for 3 years. I played Horde. I was in a hardcore raiding guild. We were like third, fourth, fifth on our server, every tier. We were pretty decent. The only problem is that, like, our guild was really toxic. We had a lot of toxic people in our guild. Our guild leader was a little crazy sometimes. Sometimes he listens to the show, so. But, I mean, I would say all of this to his face. But, yeah, so it was just not the environment that I really enjoyed being in, and I don't know why I stayed there for so long, but I felt like I didn't have anywhere else to go. So, long story short, then Convert to Raid started, and I was like, this is perfect. You know, it's probably going to be a really great community and all of that. The only thing was that they were Alliance, and at that point, I had never played Alliance. I had never rolled an Alliance character aside from being a human and playing around on Moonguard. I'm not gonna lie, I did that. So
Did that. We still do that. What are you talking about?
we still do that, but I mean, like, way back in the day.
You go hang out at
Yeah.
Goldshire?
Absolutely,
Yes,
because
we
there's
hung
nothing
out
more
in
entertaining than
Goldshire.
Goldshire at 2 o'clock in the
It
morning on
is. It's
Saturday.
fun.
You know what's more entertaining than
yeah.
Goldshire at 2 in the morning? Being Horde and going to Goldshire at 2 a.m. in the
Oh
morning.
boy. So yeah. Aside from that, I've never played an Alliance character. I had never seen Stormwind. I had never been to Alliance only zones. I had no idea what any of it was like. So here I am, level 90, faction transferring to be in a guild of people that I've never met any of these people. I heard about it online. Yeah, I made the change. I brought my paladin over, and then a couple months later, I eventually brought my hunter and my priest. No, I didn't bring my hunter, just my priest. Yeah, and I will say that since I've been playing in Convert to Raid, that I actually do prefer the Alliance over the Horde, and I don't know why it took me 3 years to try it out, to play these characters. I don't know what it is. It's, for me, some of it is aesthetics. I do like some of the character models better than Horde races. I've never been a fan of Blood Elves, and I felt like that was the only really feminine type race that you could be, aside from the goblins were all right. I played some of those. I played a lot of trolls. My druid and my hunter were trolls. And my paladin was a Tauren. What?
Troll females, not bad.
Yeah, I do. I really do like the troll female, the model, and the way that like armor looks on them and stuff like that. So for me, a lot of it was aesthetics. I feel like the alliance races are a little better as far as like feminine characters go, and this is just my opinion, everybody. So I know a lot of people will disagree with me on this stuff, and that's fine, but I'm not a feminist. It has nothing to do with feminism. It actually has to do with the way that skimpy armor looks on certain like I guess models, because I love the way that like the skimpier armor looks on the Draenei. Yeah, so I know it's really dumb, but some people like the way their characters look. So if I'm happier with the way my character looks Alliance, then it's another pro for me. And then I also like a lot of the Alliance storylines. What?
I have a challenge for Aggathon.
Oh boy.
Oh geez.
I like how you just cut me off. It was story time, and Kage just cut me off. Just like that.
This is gonna lead to more story time. I challenge you, Aggathon, to roll a tune on Airy Peak, level to 15, just to join CTR, just so you can be in the community, and after being in that community for a week, not want to actually level a tune in that guild over in the Alliance side.
See,
oh boy.
So the thing is that.
So the thing
it is a challenge.
Oh gosh.
The problem
I'm not telling you
is
to
that
transfer a tune.
the thing is that the main reason I still play the game is to do hardcore high-end rating, and I'm in a 11 of 12 hard mode guild right now that I actually really love the people that I'm raiding with. We have our own great little community. It's not as big as CTR community, obviously. I mean, there's not very many guilds that are, but
I'm not telling you to leave your guild or your raid team.
But I would have to spend so much. I would have to spend so much more time doing things that are not on my main character in order to do.
Blah blah blah. I'm just saying
that and I looked into the raid times. They don't work
excuses.
out for me. So
the raid times there's 85 raid teams in CTR.
Yeah, none of them that were recruiting fit my raid times at the time.
Oh, so you looked into it already.
There's like so many there's like 100 raid teams now, and they're all like pretty much all recruit. Anyways, regardless, yeah. So yeah, I was back to because Kage cut me off, and there was a topic there. Yeah, I think that I'm not the only person, because Aggathon mentioned it, but I think a lot of people are playing a faction that they don't actually enjoy playing because their friends made them play it. So like when we were talking earlier, a lot of people who start up World of Warcraft have been told or invited to come play with their friend. Come play with us. Come be in our guild. Come raid with us or whatever. And I think a lot of people could be possibly in the same shoes that I was. You're like, okay, well, I'm going to play this faction because it's the only way I can play with my friends, right? So you get sucked into the game this way, and you like playing with your friends, but you could be playing the wrong faction. You could be not wrong, like as in that faction is wrong, but like it's the wrong faction for you. So the whole point of this conversation was to say, do you think that people should try like being bifactional? Because that's the word on the internet now. It's bifactional.
Should we experiment with being bi?
Yes.
Factional?
Because you were saying, Aggathon, you're not really keen on playing Alliance, but do you think it's a valid thing to do? Like, should people try to broaden their horizons and experiment with the other faction?
Sure.
Well, what you get, though, is the full story. You get the actual story from both sides. Not playing both sides means you're not getting the entire game.
I will say it would be interesting to go back and do like the Dominance Offensive quests as... Well, it's called Dominance Offensive as Horde. Is it like Operation Shield Wall or something as Alliance? It would be interesting to go back and see that whole storyline as Alliance instead of Horde. Having said that, with the exception of that quest chain, I can't think of any other significant quest chain lore-wise that I would give a rip about, regardless of the side. Like Blizzard just hasn't done that until this expansion and that quest line specifically. Right? Is there anything else that really faction matters from a lore perspective? Oh, there was the
No,
Onyxia
not really.
chest quest back in vanilla. That was different.
Well,
But that's
the
the only other thing I
yes,
can
that
think
was
about. And that doesn't
the
massively
exist.
Sundered
different,
Isle
too.
was different on both
That
sides. 'Cause I did
quest
play both sides of it.
was
That's
incredibly different because I think Horde got the short end of the stick for that Onyxia quest line. The whole, you know what I'm talking about, Aggathon, go
Yeah.
everywhere, and yeah, it was.
Yeah, you had,
my
you had
brother
to go to
played
like
back then,
Grimbatal and kill 3 dragons or something, and
well, the dude that you had to find, wasn't it Rexar? No, it wasn't Rexar. Was it Rexar? No. There was
Might have been.
some guy that you had to go like hunting around, and he had like a random pattern that he would walk around in order to turn certain parts of the quest, and then he'd give you the next quest, and you'd have to go and do it, and then when you were done, you had to find him again. Somebody in the chat room who
I've tried to
remembers his
forget
name.
most
I
of
can't
the
remember
quest
his name.
chains on both sides because I did do them on both factions back in the day, and all I remember is them being a huge pain in the butt and being glad that I was done. However, the ending of the Alliance side faction was really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard like the Alliance got to see like the actual ending with that. And then the Horde.
Yeah,
was
because
really, was
it
like,
turns out that
"Here,
like
do this
one of the
stupid
guards
quest."
of the king was Onyxia.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was Katrina Prestor or Katrina Prestor? Katrina? I don't know, something like that. And she was impersonating a lady of the court. Anyways, so the Alliance got to see this whole part of the storyline play out because it was happening in Stormwind. And then for the Horde, it was totally different because it was like, do all these quests for, you know, so-and-so and so-and-so because we said so, and then go kill Onyxia. And, like, that was it. There was nothing, like, there was no closing for the Horde. They didn't really get to understand why are we killing Onyxia? Like, because she wasn't impersonating a lady of the court in Orgrimmar, you know? So,
Yeah.
I agree. But I think nowadays storytelling in general is a little better, especially even though people disagree with this, but, like, especially them trying to balance it between, like, Horde and Alliance getting to see everything that's going on. Now, I'm not saying that all the storyline itself is balanced between Horde and Alliance, but I think that we all do get to see everything that's going on. So that's good, especially with scenarios.
I have a question for you, Alliance folk.
Okay.
You guys have seen the cutscene when you kill Garrosh, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was that confusing to you guys at all?
No. Made sense to me.
Yeah, why would it be confusing?
Oh, okay. I guess what you mean, like the whole Jaina
Thrall
thing?
just being like, "Yeah, Vol'jin, you're the new war chief." Like, was that
Right.
confusing at all to anyone?
Not really, no, because but I played all through Cataclysm, so I can understand the whole Thrall is even though he is a neutral character right now, I can understand him being like that guy, like kind of like that father of the Horde figure, if you will, you know, and he's like, I give you my blessing, son, and to me that's what it felt like him saying, well, I'm not going to do it, so somebody else has to do it. Why not Vol'jin? You know,
But why Vol'jin? Why not Lothamar, or why not Sylvanas, or Sarfang?
Because that's the way they've been building up the story. It's been Vol'jin this whole time. Though I do agree with you.
So is it that way on the Alliance side too? Because that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we did the whole quest where we get to like infiltrate the outside of Orgrimmar and like go help Vol'jin and help rally up all the resistance, the trolls of the resistance and all of that. Yeah, we did do a lot of that storyline. So
that, and thanks to the wonders of YouTube, we actually get to see the cinematic from the Horde perspective.
Oh,
so,
you're a cheater.
That's true.
That's cheating.
So there's that. But
that's cheating.
Yeah. So hey, you know what? I'm gonna see every ounce of this game. I don't care how I do it. So I mean, you know what, and this can be debated forever. We can talk about this probably for the next 3 hours, but I'm pretty sure most of us have got the gist. Everyone knows why they did it. What I'd really like to see is some Twitter and some YouTube responses kind of as to why people individually actually chose their faction.
Yeah, I
So-
want to know. So
yeah,
tell us.
Yeah.
Leave
Tell
a
us on
comment
Twitter.
if you're watching this on YouTube.
We need
I
the
think on
datas.
Stitcher you can leave comments. And then when we post this on the website, so if you're looking at this on the website post, you can leave comments there. So tell us, why did you pick the faction that you picked? We actually got a little bit of feedback from our live chat room while we've been chatting about this. And it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Some people obviously say, you know, they play because their friends play this faction or whatever. Yeah.
Some
I think a
people
lot of it
said
is-
that they
it's
only play
social.
Alliance because they're the good guys, which is highly debatable.
Yeah.
So-
Like that's what I brought up earlier, the whole good guy versus bad guy perception, because it's really
You
just
guys
what it
watch
is,
How I Met
just
Your Mother?
perception. Yes,
Yes,
I
I do.
love How I Met Your
Barney
Mother.
Stinson's like fixation on the other guy as being the good guy in the Karate Kid.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the guy that the
yeah,
Karate
yeah.
Kid beats in the final round.
Absolutely.
He's like, it's a tragic story. I mean, some punk kid comes in and beats this guy that's been training his whole life
In all
to
his
be
life.
the Karate Kid.
Right. Spoiler
Perspective.
alert,
It's
though.
100% perspective.
Because he says that guy is like his hero, right? The guy who played the
Yep.
bad guy in Karate
Yeah.
Kid. Barney
Yep.
Simpson says that's my hero. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen up into it, but he actually gets to meet his hero. I won't explain the circumstances, but if you're not watching How I Met Your Mother, if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. Yeah, you can.
You need to.
It's a funny
great.
show. You should totally watch. Neil Patrick Harris. I have a big fat girl crush on him. And I know that he's not even available to my gender, but that's okay. He's super awesome. Great actor.
Hey,
and freaking
Can I say
hilarious.
something about the show real quick? And I know this is not the
Yeah.
normal platform for it, and I normally, but this is the only platform I really have that I talk about this ever. Guys, making fun of a genre because it's funny, like the old samurai genre or the old like kung fu genre is not racist. It's making fun of a genre, not a group of people. I just wanted to say that real quick.
Can I
It's
make
not
fun of how
racist
you
to
say
make
the
fun of
word
samurai
genre?
movies. Genre.
Can I make fun of the way that you say genre?
Can I make fun of the way you say half the words, Miss Israel?
What words? What
That
words?
doesn't matter,
What
does it?
words? What words do I say weird?
I don't
What
know.
words do I
We'll
say?
talk-
You don't even know.
I'll
You
have
can't
to
even
write 'em
back
down.
up that
I'll write 'em down.
argument.
I'll let them
Right
go.
now, I can say that Kage says the word genre really weird.
How do you
Really
say
weird. Genre.
She just said
it?
it.
That's how I say it. Genre.
You say genre. Genre.
Genre.
Like it's written with a J.
It's genre.
Thank you,
They don't put the
Aggathon.
GR in there. Genre. Genre.
It's like French
Genre.
or something.
I can't roll
Yeah.
R's. So thank you for pointing that
It's
out.
not
to
an
people.
R. It's the G we're
not an R.
talking about
Jean.
here.
This is like the way you make it.
Jean.
I'm just saying
It's
I
really
can't roll
worth the
R's
E's.
either.
Okay.
Like,
How do you
like
say Captain
Sean.
Picard's name?
Say Sean.
What?
Jean-Luc
Say the word.
Picard.
Say the
right?
name Sean.
Yeah.
This is a totally inappropriate conversation to have on the air.
No, it's not. It's funny.
Yeah.
You're.
This is like
you're
my
just
day
we'll do this
clocking
in
out.
post-show.
That's what you're doing.
Now I
Actually,
can't say. Okay, first of all,
Adam
let
in
me
the chat
preface
room.
by the
Adam
fact
in the
that
chat.
this is
Wait,
my
wait, wait,
second
wait,
glass.
wait.
This is my
wait,
second
wait.
glass Merlot today. So in the last hour. So you're lucky. I'm actually like.
This wasn't water.
attentive.
It was vodka.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
Adam in the chat room brought up the whole Wolpertinger thing when he was on the show. I just
Oh my
realized
God.
that actually I like to conversate with people on how they pronounce things, because he said Wolpertinger that night, and I was like,
Oh.
what? Say that again?
Adam did.
Yeah.
Well,
Way
because
back
Adam's-
during when
Adam's
we did
from,
Press
like
Y.
the Boston area. He's from Rhode Island. He has
Right,
that
yeah,
kind of
he's
accent.
from that like northern
Yeah.
accent.
He lives in Rhode Island. He works in like the Boston area. He's gonna have an accent like.
Does he have to get his car keys?
He's gonna sound like Peter from Family Guy. Leave the guy alone. Oh my God, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Pointing stuff out.
Alrighty. I think that's it. Aggathon, how can everybody find you and check out all the stuff that you're doing?
I am really easy to find. You can find me on TankSpot, username Aggathon. Videos are posted on the front page. BlizzMaster.com, same thing. On the forums, I'm Aggathon. You can send me a message there if you want. There's a sub forum that is Aggathon's Rage Bar, and also the events then get buffed forum. You can go there. Then I guess technically you could email me at agathon@gmail.com, and I'm at Aggathon on Twitter, as you can see below.
There we go. And Kage, what about you? What kind of stuff are you doing? Where can
Well,
everybody
go
find
ahead. You can follow me at Cage of Hell. You can still go watch the last episode of Summoning Portal with Ro from Ro Maintenance. He's here in the chat room with us today. That was a lot of fun. We have the new episode coming out with Sal from The Converted, hopefully on Tuesday. If I get the editing done by then, it should be done. And then next week, I got Zia from The Sundering on, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
Snap.
Recording that on Friday. So I got a lot of stuff going
Look
on
at
there.
you name dropping. Yeah,
right? Well, no, they're going to be guests. So it's current events.
Drop this name right here and just
Yeah. So we'll have Rem on at some point if Cage ever, you know, wants to actually go to Tennessee. I can't see Cage wanting to go to Tennessee. So
right. I do not blame him.
You
No
get
one
some
should
good
ever
whiskey.
have to come to Tennessee.
yeah. If you guys don't know
Someday
what I'm
someone's
talking
gonna
about,
listen to the show, and they're gonna be like, "Rem, why do you hate Tennessee so much?" And I'm because I live in Clarksville. Come on now, it's
All right.
Anyways.
I'm gonna real quick. I just want to preface that with the fact that people don't know what I'm talking about. On the Summoning Portal, my tune Cage of Hell has escaped Azeroth, and he visits the cities of the people that I'm gonna go ahead and interview that day. So
it's pretty
so
cool.
we're gonna have to see
It's
if
pretty
he
cool. It's
wants to
kinda
go
like-
there. Well, he needs to. That's the only way we can get the portal to work.
It's
so.
like
So basically, if you want to
machinima.
stock podcast people, watch Cage's show, and he'll tell you how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
See, there you go. And anyways, you can follow me if you want at Remedeez. I also do, as I mentioned earlier in the show, a Heroes of the Storm podcast called The Nexus. You can find that on blizzmaster.com in our listing of podcasts and shows, or that's also at heroesofthenexus.com. And then I help Ro with the podcast news on Realm Maintenance. And what else do I do? Holy crap. I do like lots for Blizz Master, so check out blizzmaster.com. All of that information is in the closing sounder. And yeah, follow me on Twitter. That's like my favorite way to interact with people. I tweet a lot. Sometimes I get grumpy and I'm angry about esports and stuff like that, but I'm a big esports fan, so if you like esports and you want to talk to me about esports, follow me on Twitter. And that's pretty much it. Follow the show at Blizz_Master, or check out all of the stuff that we have to offer at BlizzMaster.com. And that is the show. I'm going to see if the outro will be heard by the chat room. I can't promise that it will be, so we're going to try. Thank you for listening to or watching this episode of the Blizz Master Show, your show for all Blizzard Entertainment video games.
Diablo, Hearthstone,
Heroes of the Storm,
StarCraft, World of Warcraft.
Find us everywhere: Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and be sure to check out our website.
Check it out today at blizzmaster.com.